goes, "So are you famous yet? Are you famous yet?" And so she would fake cry, "Oh, please, I'm trying.
I was ready at any moment for someone to be like, here's your opportunity.
She started just doing things to try to get her name out there, her face out there. She was collaborating with a lot of artists.
She was the lead character in Cupid's Chokehold, Gym Class Heroes video. She was the girl that the guy ends up with.
And that music video was massive. And it was an incredible turning point for Katie because people started saying, "Who's that girl?"
Katie began dating Gym Class Heroes lead singer, Travie McCoy.
I think her and Travie hit it off just because, you know, he's creative, musically talented, and did a lot of...
What made it seem wonderful was here are two young people who just were very public about being in love and sharing music and sharing each other.
In early 2007, 22-year-old Katie got a call from Capitol Records.
She was going to get signed again, which I think is an incredible moment, but there was some reservation because she had been let down so many times before.
The day that she signed that deal, she was 2 months behind on her car payments, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
It was kind of like a stamp of validation. She had worked so hard for so many years.
When Katie signed to Capitol, the direction they wanted to take was her direction, and Katie began to finish the record that she had started at Columbia, and she knew exactly what she wanted to do to finish the record.
That November, Capitol released Perry's first single online, a catchy alt-pop track called You're So...
You know, those guys that wear the guyliner and use the flat irons and wear their girlfriend's jeans. It's kind of just taking the piss out of those type of boyfriends, which I've had a couple.
I remember when You're So Gay came out, I was like, oh boy. People are going to have a field day with this one. And people just really reacted.
Madonna was really like the first major star to endorse Katy Perry, and it was because of that song. And that was huge. I mean, you can't buy that kind of promotion.
I know, it's crazy. She, knows my first and last name. I figured that Madonna doesn't have time to do anything besides, figure out what she's going to wear and eat and go to.
But Katie's fan base blew up in June 2008 when she released the single, I Kissed a Girl.
It was like an avalanche had just come down in Southern California. I mean, it was an instant smash.
It was really an interesting ride. I mean, it was one that I had to, hold on for dear life. It was based on that girl who introduced me to Queen. I was, obviously obsessed with her because of, how cool she was and the different things that she showed me, and it was more than an obsession. It was definitely a crush.
I immediately asked, how are you going to explain this to Mom and Dad? Because at that point, they were still very conservative in their views and very, bubble Christian world. And she's like, well, I was kind of hoping you would. Once they started to realize how much attention it was starting to get her, they kind of jumped on the bandwagon. And Dad was telling everybody he was Katy Perry's dad.
The moment that Bill O'Reilly first mentioned I Kissed a Girl on Fox News, I think Katie realized, I think I started something here. But the reality is that Katie just wrote a song about her life. It wasn't a political statement.
I knew that putting that out, especially as my first single, I wasn't going to be every critic's darling. And tons of people with opinions, they put so much seriousness on what was really just a fun, sassy kind of boop-boop-doo song, and I knew that this song was going to be the song that could possibly open all the doors. I knew that it was just the kickoff. I was like, whoa, this is cool, because they're actually seeing me as a peer in some ways. Okay, so a couple more questions to answer from E! Online. This next one is one dear to my heart. It's, who takes care of Kitty Purry while I'm gone? Well, she's taken care of by my little brother, who is fantastic. He actually takes care of all the cats now. We have 3. Morrissey, who is an English cat, and Kitty Purry, who is the queen bee, diva, don't mess with this biatch. And now Krusty is the newcomer to town. So I think that Morrissey, who is Russell's cat, and Kitty Purry, who's my cat, are a little bit jealous of Krusty.
Ladies and gentlemen, superstar Katy Perry!
In the summer of 2008, Katy Perry was living the dream. She had a #1 single, and her debut pop rock album, One of the Boys, was in the top 10.
It's kind of like my wedding, my bar mitzvah, my birthday, my communion, graduation, all wrapped in one.
But some critics weren't thrilled with the album.
When One of the Boys came out, the reviews were very mixed, and I would say they were actually more negative than positive. A lot of magazines said that there was no substance to the song, and the outlets criticized how glossy everything sounded. These songs are not meant to be taken seriously. They're fun. So with all of that, it still was a huge hit for Katy Perry, and, critics be damned.
Just days after her album was released, Katy went on the road with the Warped Tour, a music and extreme sports festival.
So I just want to say thank you to everybody on Warped Tour. You guys especially for making this happen.
Putting Katy Perry on the Warped Tour was very much a calculated move. It was about giving her credibility as an artist and not just a Pop-Tart.
Here was this girl who was singing I Kissed a Girl on pop radio, and every night she had to earn their respect. And Katy, being the fighter that she is, would go out there and she'd spit on stage, and she was playing guitar and jumping around in the crowd.
She had a boyfriend on the same tour at the time. Travis was there, and I think that was obviously difficult because music for him is like a really fun experience, and for her, she handled it very professionally. Katy was the big that summer. I think that might have been a really tough thing for him to encounter.
You can never take your course and prepare yourself for any of this. Someone asked me actually yesterday, do people stop you on the streets? Do they recognize you, blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, well, only if I'm exuding that kind of hi, I'm Katy Perry. Thank you.
Katy enjoys her celebrity. She's a star. She's always wanted to be, but she's a little more cautious of the people that she opens up to. Hi, it's Katy Perry. I'm Freddie Mercury, though, and I can't really talk with these teeth in. I'm going to show you inside my birthday party. I'm 24, and this is my Dead Hollywood birthday party. It's 200 of my closest friends. I'm very excited to see them because I've been on the road constantly, and sometimes it's hard to see my friends all the time. So I said, I want to throw a really big birthday party and just have a great time.
Katy's next single, Hot and Cold, peaked at #3 on the Billboard pop charts.
We just wrapped Hot and Cold.
That December, Katy found out she was up for music's top honor.
Katy was nominated for a Grammy in 2008 for I Kissed a Girl, which was an incredible moment to say, you've made it, you're in the club.
I was like, whoa, this is cool because they're actually seeing me as a peer in some ways. And so that felt good.
Katy's career was on solid ground, but her relationship with boyfriend Travie McCoy was falling apart. After spending the Christmas holiday together, the couple decided to split.
She really cared about Travis, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be.
It was sort of a weird situation, I think, where they were both breaking artists at the same time. I think that gave the relationship a pressure that it couldn't withstand.
I remember the first thing she said about Russell is, he's so hot, Russell Brand's so hot. And I was like, really?